On Shalom TV from Tribeca 360 in downtown New York. I'm Mark Golub, and Jessica and I are at one of the premier Jewish events of the year.
We're at Stand Up and Be Counted. It's a gala supporting the Agahozo-Shalom Youth Village in Rwanda.
We want to show you the festivities, the people who are here. By the way, it's a gorgeous event, is it not?
Beautiful. It's gorgeous here, and there's so much to see. Let's take a look.
Let's take a look and also show you the program right here on Shalom TV.
It is my great pleasure to welcome everyone to our 5th annual Stand Up and Be Counted event.
So this is no stranger to you now, Ann Heyman, who has helped put together the Agahozo village in Rwanda, the youth village. By the way, first of all, spectacular event, Mazal Tov.
Thank you, thank you.
What really I wanted you to talk about for just a quick moment. Look, roughly how many people will be here?
There'll probably be about 400 people here tonight.
Okay, and they're here because they believe in what you're doing and they want to support what you're doing.
I certainly hope so.
Okay. But in addition, you have people here who are from the village itself.
Absolutely.
And in some way I asked you this when we sat together, but I want you to speak about it again. What is it in here that moves you to be involved with these kids, these people? And there are many things you're involved with, but a lot of your energy and time goes into the Agahozo-Shalom Youth Village. Why?
Because truthfully, these kids, I think about 60 years ago, the kids that were in the DP camps, the kids that the world went on and forgot. And these are those kids. These kids are survivors of genocide that the world went on and forgot. And combined with that, we have a system in Israel, the youth village system, that can really restore the rhythm of life for these kids. And the results are just miraculous. You can talk to any of these kids, hear what their background is, know where they come from, and see who they are now after just 3 or 4 years with us. It is extraordinary. And, we can do this at so little cost, and these kids are going to rebuild their country. It's what we should all be doing.
You have a wonderful Jewish neshama, and out of that comes this sense of Jewish values. And we talked about it before. You save one person, you're credited for having saved the entire world. You save 500 every year. And
these kids are saving thousands of others. That's the way it works.
Yes, there is a ripple effect, isn't it?
Absolutely. Last year, when I stood here before you, we were all contemplating the graduation of our first class. And the buzz was all about, what is going to happen to them? Where are they going to go? What are they going to do? So I'm thrilled to be able to share with you some of what has happened to our graduates since then. In November 2012, they sat for the national examinations. In February 2013, the results of those examinations were released. 117 out of the 118 kids who sat for the exam passed. In other words, they are all eligible to go to university. In fact, one of our children scored the 7th highest grade in the country in geography. And the Liquinet Family High School was ranked 35th out of 297 schools in the nation. As of today, 5 of our children have been accepted to start university in Canada in the fall. McGill University and the University of British Columbia get a big thank you. But there can be no doubting the efficacy of Agahozo-Shalom. What other school do you know where over 99% of the graduates are eligible to go to university? And when you look at these kids and you know where they have come from and where they are now, there is no other word for it but miraculous. This system works. And in a place like Rwanda, it is undoubtedly turning out the future leadership of the country. These kids are change makers. Knowing they have been given this tremendous opportunity, they are committed to achieving and to giving back to others who have not been as fortunate. By being here tonight, you are ensuring not only their future, but that of Rwanda. Already they are making a difference in the community around the village and in their home communities. They build homes for the homeless, advocate for the helpless, teach English, computers, mentor kids in primary schools. The list goes on and on. These kids have already impacted thousands of lives. And I'm going to repeat that because it's really significant. When you invest in a child at Agahozo-Shalom, you are investing in so much more. Quite literally, they are affecting positive change and touching thousands of lives. And it is because of your support that they can do it.
This is Agahozo-Shalom, a best home, a wonderful school, the Greatness Family High School.
So I've just met Eric, who's a student in the school, and why don't you just tell me a little bit about how this journey has affected you and how it makes you feel?
This journey was so good. I liked it because I met something which is new. It was my first time to go in the airplane, so I feel so much good.
What an extraordinary pleasure I have right now speaking with Yvonne, who is a student at the Agahozo-Shalom village. What is it like to come and see New York City for the first time?
I was so excited, and everything here is different. I learned a lot. I met with many people who are very nice. They love everyone, and everyone here cares about someone. It is the first thing that I recognized, that according to the people I met with, they are loved one, they cares about us. It was really nice. And also, the city, it is very loud, very nice. It is really fantastic.
I have the pleasure now of standing with Lori Franz, who is a board member of the Agahozo-Shalom Youth Village. First of all, how did you become a board member?
Well, years ago, I heard about the organization, and we ended up doing some funding because we thought it was very noble and wonderful cause, and we knew it was a good investment in these kids. So the Agahozo-Shalom was housed by the JDC as our fiscal sponsor, and then when they had to become their own entity, Ann called me and said, "I'd like you to serve on the board."
Did you know her from before?
I did not. I met her, I saw her speak, and I met her, and I was so moved by
She's a
everything.
remarkable human being.
She's pretty unbelievable.
You know, she is able to combine a Jewish sensibility and a Jewish sense of values with a universalist perspective.
Yeah.
To what extent, if at all, does that also reflect who you are? To what extent, first of all, are you driven by a Jewish sense of identity?
I think one of the things I like the most about the project is the Jewish face on philanthropy it puts. It's really important to me that we give back, and Tikkun Olam, but with these kids in particular, just because of what they've been through. I have 3 boys, and when I think about survivors of the Holocaust, I think about, they're not going to be around forever, and these kids are my chance to teach my children to meet them and see what it's been about, their suffering is about, and how to make things better.
By the way, by any chance, have you been to the village itself?
Yes, I've been twice.
What's it like?
It's the most wonderful place. It's warm, it's welcoming, the kids are everywhere. There's a lot of energy because there's a lot of teenagers running around. It's comfortable. I think by Rwandan standards, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's very luxurious for them. For us, maybe not in the same way, but it's extremely comfortable. It's good food. It's just a really wonderful place, and there's a lot of activity all the time.
Lori Franz, you're doing wonderful work yourself. It's a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for a moment on Shalom TV.
No problem. Thank you.
Lori Franz.
Thank you.
I work for a show on CNN called The Next List, and we profile innovators. It's a weekend half-hour show hosted by Sanjay Gupta. And I did a half-hour program on Yosef Abramowitz, who is partnering with Ann, who runs the village. So they came together because Yosef puts solar fields not only all over Israel, but now he's bringing those fields to third world countries. So he and Ann got together and they're partnered up, and they're now putting the very, very first solar field in Rwanda at Ann's village.
So I'm here with Jonathan and Ben, the founder of the event's son and nephew. And since you guys are young Jewish people, I was wondering if you would be at this event, regardless of your mother and aunt's involvement.
Absolutely. We both go to Jewish day schools where they heavily encourage activism, social and otherwise just being active about anything that you're passionate about.
You've both been to the village?
Yeah, we've both been to the village. I loved it. It was an experience that I think everybody should, if they can, experience.
I went out to the village in October. I was lucky enough to go and help out with Anne in the village and got to meet everybody, and I kept in touch with some of the kids, and I spoke with them, found out that they were going to be out here, flew out from California, got to see everybody, so.
And what was your favorite moment when you were in Africa with the kids?
Just being able to interact with the kids and experience what they experience, see how talented they are, how grateful they are for what they have and what Anne has been able to give them, and just the country, that it's just unbelievable.
Just being here, the energy, the passion. God, you don't need solar energy to really feel the warmth here. I feel as an Israeli, and seeing Anne lead the way, that Tikkun Olam, the world, Tikkun is mending the world, that this is an obligation to each and every one of us. It's the values that we cherish, it's the values that we grew up with, and I feel that everyone who can come out there and give from his own for others, at the end of the day, through divine intervention, the Almighty also pays him back, and through that pays, I think, society. You, Anne, you're fulfilling the Jewish aspiration of Tikkun Olam, making a world a better place, and hundreds of orphans have found hope for the future in the village that you founded. And I'm also another person who exemplifies this Jewish desire to build a better world is someone sitting very humbly here on your left, and this is tonight's honoree, Yossi Abramovich. In February, he installed the first solar panels in the Agahozo-Shalom youth village. Through his solar technology, Yossi is providing affordable electricity that is improving the quality of life for the village children. He has also given the village a sustainable source of income through the sale of renewable energy. Yossi's success earned him the nickname, and I looked it up, Captain Sunshine. Can you believe that? He's both an officer and a gentleman who has launched a campaign to make the planet cleaner and kinder to all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating Yossi and inviting him to accept this award.
All the holy books of all the religions teach that we have to care for the orphan, and so it's a great privilege to be associated with the village and with this mitzvah, as we say. But we also learn in Isaiah, I stole the line, that we're supposed to be a light. And that I can do. That we can do. And we learned it, Mr. Ambassador, at Kibbutz Keturah and in the state of Israel, where we installed 18,200 panels and another 100,000 panels going up very, very shortly. The village, to me, represents hope for Rwanda, certainly, for Africa, and for all of humanity.
So at the Agahozo-Shalom benefit, I'm standing here with a man who is honored, who has done extraordinary things, not only for the state of Israel, but really on the cutting edge of world technology when it comes to solar power. Yossi Abramowitz, by the way, Mazal Tov to you. Congratulations, not only for tonight, but for what you've been able to accomplish. And you and I have met each other before, and you're this is one of the real good guys on the world and Jewish scene. And look, it's the Arava Power Company in Israel, and you are helping to create solar power as a reality, Yossi. And I'm going to ask you a couple of quick questions. First of all, let's see the honor that you got tonight, and it was given to you by the Agahozo-Shalom Youth Village. What's it mean to you? Explain how you've been involved in working with them and what this means to you.
So first of all, thank you. It's a team effort. It's not me. We have a team. My partners Ed Hoffman from Kibbutz Keturah, David Rosenblatt from New Jersey, and a whole professional staff on Arava built the solar industry in the state of Israel. And we thought, Dayenu, that would have been enough. But lo and behold, turns out the whole world needs energy, and we have to stop global warming.
and there are underserved populations around the world. So when Ann Hyman, who's my hero, says, Yossi, you got to come volunteer, she knew what she was doing. I came with my family last summer. Now that I see the kids, Yossi, you got to build one of those solar fields to make sure we get some of the revenue. And she made available the land and some of her team. And this is really about saving the world. It's about putting together, I think, the source of hope in Agahozo-Shalom, based on an Israeli model, with an Israeli model of building solar fields, putting them together to do something transformative. We're almost there. We haven't done it yet. This ward is it's a little premature, but I think it's kind of a Lahav deal. It's like, you know, Obama won the Nobel Peace Prize like in his first day in office or something. It was like, buddy, you're stuck. You got to do something good for the world. Well, Anne has us. We're going to do our best, you know, with her and with the government of Rwanda to build the first commercial solar field in East Africa.
And I want to make sure everybody understands what she's hoping, what Anne is hoping for is that ultimately the solar field that you create at Agahozo-Shalom will help support it so that ultimately it will become self-sufficient and won't need to rely on Jewish philanthropy. And that's what you're trying to make sure happens.
We want to make sure there's a steady revenue stream, and if we have the privilege of building more solar fields in Rwanda, we'll find a way to stream some more money to the village.
It's marvelous. Where are you from originally?
I was from made Aliyah to Kibbutz Keturah.
From where?
From Boston.
You grew up where?
In the Boston area.
Okay.
Boston area.
And you had a strong Jewish background yourself, right?
Yeah, like I was with Ann in the Young Judea Youth Movement.
Right.
So, again, similar values, Tikkun Olam. But I went to Salmon Schechter Day School. I went to Jewish camps. I went on Israel programs with Ramah. I went on Young Judea Year course. I'm like a poster child for like all things Jewish, but it set me off on a global journey.
Exactly right. And this is what I want to know.
Yeah.
At what point do you decide your energy is going to be put into the development of solar energy for the world? How does that happen, Yossi?
Well, we made Aliyah to the small, wonderful kibbutz called Keturah in the Arava, and it was really hot and sunny. I mean, there's nothing else going on. Somebody has to do this, so because I was a political activist and a human rights activist for Soviet Jewry, Ethiopian Jewry, I'm used to political campaigns. Oh yeah, like the Israelis were like, no, it'll never work. You know, you're a naive American kibbutznik. And I was like, wait a second. I used to get Hebrew teachers out of solitary confinement in the Soviet Union. We can't change a couple laws in our own country? So we did. David, Ed, myself, and the whole team. And then people from all over the world said, hey, Startup Nation, can you help us? They need it more in Rwanda than they do in Israel. So it was a natural outgrowth of proving that it works in Israel.
And you know, there are people who say solar energy is not real, that it costs more than it produces, that it will never be enough to really power a lot. What do you say to them?
Lies and more damn lies. We are half the price of diesel-powered electricity. And that's almost half the energy of Rwanda is by dirty diesel. Guess who sells the dirty diesel? Who pumps it? The enemies of Western liberalism and progressivism. That's who gets the money. Enough. Guess where the greenhouse gas emissions are coming from that's heating up the world and like killing people? You know, it's oil. We are half the price of diesel-generated electricity, and we're clean and we're green.
Will it come to America, Yossi?
Well, it has to. It has to. California's leading the way. New Jersey, Massachusetts announced yesterday a relatively ambitious goal. I happened to be there yesterday with some important people, but I'm not saying it's because of us. It has to. America has to make this transformation immediately. And the natural gas is a good bridge. It can't be the end goal.
Yes.
We got to go away from coal and diesel to natural gas to renewables. We have to be a world leader in this, and we'll create a green jobs as well. So America has to follow the lead of Israel and hopefully Rwanda.
Well, look, you and I spoke before. Your family didn't get to be here to watch you. Your kids weren't here, but they'll watch you now on Shalom TV. And again, I'll say it again. You're watching one of the real good guys on the world Jewish scene, and I can't thank you enough.
Thank you, guys. I couldn't do it without you. And we're going to go back to Rwanda together to cut the ribbon on the first solar field in East Africa.
Yossi Abramovitz.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you very much. I have the pleasure of standing with Dan Brent here at the Agahozo-Shalom Youth Village Gala. I am fascinated by the fact, Dan, that you actually have been to the Agahozo-Shalom Village, correct?
That is correct.
What was it like? What did it do to you inside?
It's a life-changing experience. Since this is Shalom TV, I can only say the closest analogy is if you've been to Israel, and it's a life-changing experience in one way. Going to Rwanda and seeing what the Agahozo-Shalom Youth Village does for these children is, in a different way, also a life-changing experience. The country is physically beautiful. The people are physically beautiful, but their souls are exquisite. And this is a project that has rescued from the ashes of a genocide now 500 children, first orphans from genocide, then AIDS orphans, as AIDS was used as a weapon in the genocide. And it provides not merely an education, but a loving family structure, recreating for them the families that they've lost, and provides them with the tools for self-esteem and to prepare for a future that is really a paradigm for repairing the world.
That's lovely. And I want you to speak to something that some people watching Shalom TV right now may be wondering. You're a committed Jew, you are committed to the state of Israel, and yet at the same time, you have found in your own life and in your own heart room for something very different. I want you to talk about how you feel as a committed Jew, your work with the Rwandan orphan children, whose literally their lives have been saved by Agahozo-Shalom Youth Village, how that in some way intertwines with your Jewish commitment and your commitment to the state of Israel.
I'll explain two things. First of all, there are no Jews in Rwanda, but the Rwandans, I'm given to understand, identify strongly with Israel as a small country surrounded by neighbors who may not be exactly in favor of their or supportive of them, and they are excited when Jewish volunteers come. They have a very positive outlook towards the state of Israel, and they understand emotionally that notion of a small country trying to struggle and be successful. In addition, when you visit the Genocide Museum in Kigali, they pay homage to the experience of other genocides, especially the Holocaust, in a very sensitive way. And they send a message which should resonate with all Jews about the parallels of hatred that cause a genocide, about the necessity for being alert and sensitive to the earliest indications of hatred and how that's portrayed. And given more time, I'd explain some of the parallels, which I won't do now, between the genocide that was planned and what happened in Germany and in Europe, so that to see, as a Jew, to help people who have suffered a more recent violent upheaval and to help them heal and come together and renew themselves is an important task. It doesn't take the place of love of Israel, but it is a way actively to participate in another example of healing the world and of living a Jewish value. The Rwandans appreciate it, and I appreciate it for the opportunity to help a people help themselves.
At the Agahozo-Shalom Youth Village Gala, I have the great pleasure of standing with Ann Heyman's husband, Seth Marin. By the way, this must be a night of real pride for you, yes?
It's just an amazing feeling. You know, the incredible show of support, and just, you know, you see, every day you live with this village and all of the trials and tribulations, but really what they're doing is absolutely a miracle.
Seth, have you actually been to the village?
Many times.
What touched you in any one of your trips? What do you carry around inside for you from some moment at that village?
I've got two things for you. One is that the first group of kids, when they came into the village, they didn't know anything, they didn't eat anything. They would pile their plates up this high because they didn't know that they would get another meal. And they were so thankful for being there. They would show up in the classrooms an hour before the classes started. 6 months after they came into the village, they produced a show for us, and they sang a song that they created, and they sang it to their parents in Kenya, Rwanda, so that they would understand it, their parents in heaven. And what they said is, I know you've been worried about us, I know you've been concerned, but you can rest now because we have a new family and we have a new life. And it just, every time I think about it.
That's gorgeous. I talked to your wife on Shalom TV about how out of her young Judy experience, out of her commitment to the Jewish tradition, out of her feeling of being Jewish, comes this vision of wanting to spread it out. The whole idea that if we save one life, we're counted as we saved all mankind. And it's not about only saving Jews. And yes, the Jewish people do have a responsibility to their own people, but the responsibility we have been taught goes beyond. And I'm wondering the extent to which your own Jewish background resonates with that, and whether you share your wife's vision in that regard.
Well, I met Anne in Young Judea when we were in Israel and high school students.
She told the story on Shalom TV.
The Agahozo-Shalom Youth Village is the most Jewish expression that we could ever make. When kids go there, Jewish kids go to Agahozo-Shalom, they feel the Judaism, and it's right out of the Bible. Not that we, but it's absolutely an expression of our Judaism. This is what we should be doing.
It's been an honor speaking to you for a moment. I wish you kol tuv hatzlacha, mazal tov on your wife's work at Agahozo-Shalom Youth Village. May it go from strength to strength, and may you be there also with them.
Thank you so much.
Seth Marin.
It's good to be there.
So with Cuba Gooding in the background, not Cuba Gooding Jr.
By his father.
His father, a wonderful singer.
Yeah.
That's Shalom TV's coverage of the Agahozo-Shalom Youth Village Gala here at Tribeca 360. So Jessica, what did you feel about it? What did it do to you?
I just thought it was beautiful and so much fun, such great energy, and so many people that are involved. You can tell it comes from their hearts, which is the right thing to do for this kind of work.
Jessica put her finger on it. Very lovely people, committed Jews who are committed not only to the state of Israel, but in a greater sense to trying to make this a better world for all humanity, really using Jewish values in a wonderful, wonderful way. And for us to be able to bring this to you makes us very, very happy. We hope you enjoyed this special Shalom TV presentation. One more time from Tribeca 360, Jessica and Mark wishing you good night.
God bless you all. Thank you very much. Good night.